New York is in an economic crisis. Everybody knows that. But what most people don't realize is New York is in a constitutional crisis as well. We have legislators and judges and executives in government who are beyond the reach of law because they control the law. They control those who are responsible to punish those who violate the law. And it's because of that disregard for law that we're here today. New York is on the verge of bankruptcy. But more importantly, the futures of our children are being bankrupt as well. And what's taken from them is more important than money. It's freedom. I have a PowerPoint presentation that I'm going to start here in a minute to explain to you why the system is the way it is and why we keep, as many have said, electing the same people over and over again. You've never elected anybody in this system. They are anointed by corrupt, criminal, political enterprises. And the facade that we have of a free and open election is nothing more than a facade. Primary challenge is going to give you your government back. I want to be clear to say this, that this is the only mechanism available to you. The only peaceful mechanism available to you is what you're going to see today. You can march down the street with signs that say we're mad and we're not going to take it anymore, and that will have little, if any, effect on anyone in public office because it doesn't hurt them. You can scream to the top of your lungs to your legislator, we're going to do everything we can to remove you from office, and they're going to laugh when they hang up the phone because they know they control the political process, and apart from what we're going to show you, you cannot hurt them. All right? So this is the only thing. I am also going to tell you that it is not the easiest thing. Because it's easy to walk down the street and carry a sign saying, I'm mad, and then go home and do nothing. It's easy to call up your legislator and say, I'm mad and I'm going to do what I can to remove you from office, and then do nothing. Those things are easy. This is going to take work, dedication, labor, sacrifice. It's going to take money. I've gotten to where I'm not ashamed to say it's going to take money anymore. Because freedom has never been free. How many veterans do we have here today? Give these guys a round of applause. I was on the last ship to leave Vietnam. I know what freedom lost looks like. There are people swimming on pieces of wood and furniture trying to escape from the Viet Cong. I know what it looks like. I don't need to be reminded. I hope I don't need to remind you as well. So we're going to start this PowerPoint presentation, and then we'll open it up for questions after. Phil, if you would, please. Well, who is Primary Challenge? Give me the first one. It's a nonpartisan organization, concerned citizens working to reform government of New York at all levels. Every layer of government in New York is or has been corrupted by the political process. We were established in 2005. Many of you probably remember the red and green budget fiasco in Erie County. And the story is this, that I was driving down the thruway, and I had been thinking about this for a long time. I was pastoring a church in Depew, and I had been thinking about this process, having been involved in it for many years, and knowing that the system itself is rigged so that you cannot have a free and open election. It's funny that we send our soldiers and our emissaries across the seas in order to make sure other people have free and open elections, but we don't have them here in New York. We are running a political criminal enterprise here in New York, stripping our own citizens of liberty and their wealth. But Primary Challenge was started in 2005 when the red-green budget came out, and a fellow was on the radio and he said, I don't know what we can do. We keep electing the same people over and over again. And he was nearly crying while he was on the air. And after months of thinking about establishing an organization called Primary Challenge to explain to the people why we keep electing the same people over and over again, I finally couldn't take it anymore. His tears touched my heart. I pulled over to the side of the road. I called the radio station, and I told him that I was going to start this organization, and I was going to prove there is something that you can do, and we can remove these people from office. And it's going to take work to do it. So that's what Primary Challenge started, is in 2005. The purpose of Primary Challenge is to educate citizens concerning the importance of the political process. Every single thing you do in life has something to do with the political process. Where you're going to work has something to do with the political process. How much you can earn, is directly tied to the political process. How much of what you earn you get to keep is tied to the political process. How many businesses are going to survive in New York is specifically tied to the political process. Everything, your churches, membership at churches is declining in New York. People cannot give to churches in order to support the ministries of churches. Why? Because of the political process in large measure. Every aspect of your life, your schools, your education for your children, the home you live in, everything is directly tied to the political process. You need to be involved in that political process. To encourage citizens to participate in the election process. Now, we have had, over the years, a number of people who have rightly said, it doesn't make any sense what I do, my vote doesn't matter. And until primary challenge came along, you were right. Your vote didn't matter. The fix was in November. I keep telling people this, that forget that saying, we'll remember in November. Because by November, the election is already over. It's simply a formality. We're going to remember in September. We're going to assist citizens interested in running for public office. Any citizen who is of a reformed mind, who desires to see New York become the state it once was, the Empire State, instead of what it has become, the Vampire State, we're going to support. Because neither of the two political parties is giving us candidates that are representing us. They represent the political parties and the special interests that support them. So we want people to run for public office, and we will help you if you run. Okay? Support the creation of a constitutional convention. New York's constitution is woefully inadequate. It allows for this corrupt and dysfunctional government to continue to exist, and we have to change the Constitution of New York. Somebody wake Philip. Aristotle said this: the punishment of wise men who refuse to participate in the affairs of government is to live under the government of unwise men. That's where we are in America today, because so many of us have extricated ourselves from the political process. We're not involved because we choose not to be involved. It's a dirty business. It doesn't make any difference. We can give ourselves any number of excuses for not being there, for not being involved. But the end result is you'll be governed by unwise men. Those unwise men are mortgaging the futures of your children and enslaving the residents of New York with confiscatory taxation. New York statistics. I love these statistics. I'm a numbers guy. We have the highest tax burden in the country, bar none. California is in a financial meltdown, but their tax burden isn't as high as ours. We are the highest taxed region in the country, right here in good old Western New York. So we can applaud ourselves for being number one in something. Okay? We lost over 50% of our manufacturing jobs in 20 years. 50%. For every manufacturing job you see, there was one here before that, and it's gone. We lost 1.2 million manufacturing jobs in 18 months. In the last 18 months. 1.2 million manufacturing jobs. New York's manufacturers are finding it cheaper to move entire factories out of New York. They're finding it cheaper to go out of business and simply leave the state. We've got to change that. We lost 34% of our young people, 1 in 3, ages 25 to 35, in the past 10 years, have decided to leave. I just waved goodbye to 2 of my grandchildren who will be returning to Virginia with their mother. Is that what you want? Is that what you want the future to be for your children? Keep going. We pay the highest per capita cost for Medicaid, more than double the next state, California. As a result, pay the highest property taxes in the country. It is my opinion that property taxes, by the way, that opinion is based on a decision made by the United States Supreme Court, that property taxes in and of themselves are unconstitutional. But we're paying them.